What's going on, guys? Today we're going to keep it really short because my battery is almost dead. So we're taking a look at the R compressor, the Renaissance compressor from Waves. In the Renaissance collection, obviously it's the same as the R bass and the R equalizer, which I have done reviews of in the past. Really good plugins that I use regularly, and I've really started taking a look at the R compressor, and it's found its way into a couple of my sessions, but I wanted to take a look at it and show you guys what it sounded like. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and comment down below. Tell me what you think of the R compressor or any plugins that you want to see me review in the future, and please subscribe. It means a lot and helps out my channel a lot. So the R compressor is like most compressor plugins. You have the threshold, ratio, gain, attack, and release. Ratio is by moving it up and down here. Threshold up and down, obviously, and then the gain up and down as well. Attack left to right, release left to right. The 15.5, I'm fairly certain that has to do with milliseconds, like most measurements when it comes to attack and release. If you wanted to manually type it in, just double click at any point. Here along the bottom, you have the arc, electro, and warm. So you can click on these and change their functionality. You have arc and manual, electro and opto, warm and smooth. So the warm and smooth, this just has to do with bringing in harmonics. Of low end, the warm will bring in some low end harmonics to really make things stick out, versus smooth, which adds no harmonics and just allows the compressor to function as itself. I am going to open up the manual real quick just to say what they say the arc versus manual is. The manual release literally has to do with you manually setting the release, and the arc is actually auto release control. The written version is manual releases let you set the release values, slow release times, and usually result in gentle gain changes, which are smooth and can gracefully move between notes. The ARC dynamically tracks the signal for best release values. It calculates the release time of each sample for optimal level with minimal artifacts. So you can work with either to get the sound that you want. It's best to just try them both, see how they both work. I think I have normally left it on arc and gotten sounds that I enjoyed fairly well. At least I didn't notice much of a difference between that and manual. And the electro and opto has to do with the release behavior. And again, I'm going to read this from the manual. The electro has a release time that becomes increasingly faster as the gain reduction approaches 0, but only when gain reduction is less than 3 dB. Opto is the inverse. Opto coupled behavior always puts on the brakes, quote unquote, as gain reduction approaches 0 dB. Release times get slower as the gain reduction comes back to 0. These basically have to do with the angle of the compressor itself. So kind of like whenever you are on a compressor screen and you see that angle, and you'll get different angle types. This is basically just a 2-option representation. At least that's what I am getting out of it. Up here on the left too, you do have a light, dark, and legacy look. Again, like normal, I prefer dark because I like that nice blue tone to it. But enough time talking about it. I am going to turn it on with a couple different signals. I'm going to try bass and a couple drums on it just because I really like the way the RComp sounds on those options. So I'm going to show it in bypass and then turn it on and show you guys what I got from it. So I wasn't going for any crazy difference. This is already a fairly overdriven bass sound. It's for a punk cover song that will be coming out soon. This is with a Audix D4 that I have right in front of the cone to pick up the mic'd signal. Here we're going to take a look at it on the kick. This is a factory drums compression, and we're going to see how it sounds. So with this, I do want to point out, even though this is just on the kick, I am using 2 different channels. I have a Beta 91A on the inside of the kick and a B52 on the outside of the kick. I am using on both an REQ6, CLA2A, and Shep 73. Both of them have their own EQs and compression settings, but that is what is getting it to this sound. Let me show you what it sounds like without the R compressor. So I think it really tightens it all up. I really like the way it sounds on the kick. So the next thing we're actually going to listen to it on is overheads, because there are two presets that I am very curious to listen to: overhead option 1 and overhead option 2. So already what I have on there is an REQ with just basically a high pass and a CLA 76. I'm going to go ahead and disengage the 76s, and you can hear what the R compressor sounds like on my left and right overhead. And now I'm going to bring in overhead option 2. So personally, I really like the way the overhead sounds for option 1. It does really good at pulling out the snare a little bit, so the snare isn't quite so present with the overheads in the mix. But overall, this is a great compressor plugin. You can use this on guitar, vocals. There are presets for so many different types of instruments. I just showed it on what I like to use it on myself. I really like the way it responds to low end, so for bass and kick drums, it sounds great. Hopefully you guys found this information helpful and can decide whether or not you want to get the RComp for yourself. I do believe it comes in many different Waves plugin packages. That's how I got mine personally. But make sure to take it and mess around with it, try it on different options throughout your mix, and I'm sure you're going to find a banger way to use it. Again, thank you so much for watching. Leave a like and comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next Tuesday.